September 3rd, 1955, KCRA television went on the air for the first time. It wasn't a newscast that marked our start, but a live broadcast from the California State Fair. That first broadcast, a small but significant step, was the start of what would become a 60-year legacy, during which the Kelly family would establish KCRA as a news powerhouse.
Where the news comes first.
Our call letters were already familiar. KCRA Radio had gone on the air 10 years earlier, founded by Ewing Kelly and the Hanson family, owners of Crystal Creamery. But television? Well, that was a whole new frontier.
Channel 3 spans the length and breadth of Northern California to bring you the fastest, most complete news coverage in this area.
I crown you Maid of California.
In 1956, Channel 3 Reports was born, and very quickly, KCRA earned a reputation as one of the top TV stations in the country. One of KCRA's first reporters and anchors was a fresh-faced Stan Atkinson.
I did the 11 o'clock news with Stu Nahan. It was 5-minute news and 5-minute sports. And my sponsor was Hostess Cinnamon Dainties. And so I'd stand there for the first 3 minutes and do the news. And then the floor man would roll in a table that was decorated with open or still packaged Hostess Cinnamon Dainties. Hostess Cinnamon Dainties, I'd say. Got it? Hostess Cinnamon Dainties. I'd take another bite. Get them.
Color film was available, but it was expensive. KCRA's first reports were in black and white.
The newscasts and the sportscasts were incredibly successful. I mean, the ratings were huge. And bear in mind, this is like 1958, 59, 60. Television was still an oddity, as it were.
At KCRA, we had proved our commitment to news and the community almost from the start.
Hello, I'm Mike Boyd. Has television news always seemed to be the quiet corner in your TV viewing? Well, not anymore.
Over the years, our commitment to news coverage grew, and on February 20th, 1961, we launched our first hour-long newscast at 6 p.m.
We were the first to do a really segmented hour-long newscast, the first in the country.
And as the Sacramento area grew, there was a lot to cover.
During that time, a lot of the news coverage centered around the redevelopment of Old Sacramento. That was a huge and ongoing news story for a long time.
We are currently in the process of converting a slum and blighted area into a valuable new integral part of our downtown.
By the early 60s, television news was coming into its own, finding its way, even if the tools and technology were still a bit challenging by today's standards.
Our unsung heroes for the photographers were the guys who processed the film. They knew how to cut in film if they had a run going and something was breaking and they had to get it in. You still had to wait 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the film was, to get out of the soup. It had to dry, and then you had to edit it. So there was a very big time lag compared to today.
But things would soon change.
The news comes first on Channel 3. Now, you've heard that statement many times. Well, very shortly, the news will not only still be first, but many segments will be in color.
A legacy of new technology with the first color broadcast.
This is Harry Martin, KCRA News, reminding you that the news comes first in full color on Color Vision 3.
First color news film, and the first regular live remotes.
Live in the capital city.
Live from across the country.
Our political reporter Steve Swat standing by live for us from New Orleans tonight.
And from the air.
We are giving you exclusive close-up pictures of this fire.
I always used to consider myself as the first strike tool. You know, we'd get there, we'd get it on the air, we'd give a perspective that you couldn't see from the ground.
It was that kind of thing that established KCRA's superiority in the marketplace.
The signature of KCRA at the time was
KCRA TV Channel 3, where the news comes first.
That was trademarked by the Kelly family, and they actually meant it. They actually came up with the concept that if you want ratings, you want to be the most important station in a market, then you have to have the best newscast, and they did.
Through the decades, the KCRA news team evolved, expanded, became more diverse, and very familiar.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Walker.
And I'm Lois Hart.
In 1990, Dave Walker and Lois Hart, the husband and wife team who had anchored CNN's first newscast, took over weekends on KCRA.
When I came in here for my interview, and the weekend anchors were Dave Walker and Lois Hart. And I knew them from CNN. And I'm thinking, what kind of television station is this that their weekend anchors are Dave and Lois? What must the rest of the team be like?
Eventually, Dave and Lois, Stan Atkinson, and other well-known faces would make way for the current team.
I'm so lucky that people like Edie Lambert and Lois Hart and Dave Walker were here to kind of bring me into the fold with open arms. And Edie and I ever since have been, I think, a great team.
I see it as a huge responsibility, and I am so careful to make sure that we're giving good context to what we're watching on TV, and that we're not just speculating on what we're seeing, sticking to the facts, giving people the information that they need to know.
KCRA is one of the premier television stations in the country, has had a long legacy of excellence.
Station president and general manager Elliot Troshinsky oversees KCRA, which in 1999 became part of Hearst, one of the nation's most diversified media, information, and technology companies.
When you hear the letters KCRA, it means a lot, and it means a lot not just in this market, but all around the country.